Welcome to Sisterhood Checkin. I am your author and coach, Nadira Lewis, and it is Friday. I'm excited to have each and every one of you join me here tonight on Sisterhood Checkin with my amazing guest. I cannot wait to dialogue with her and hear all the wonderful things that God is doing in her life and how she has come to be to where she is. She is one of my sisters in my 40 plus double Dutch club. And so I'm excited. I can't wait for you to be able to hear the awesome testimony and the things that she's doing here in Atlanta, Georgia. So before I bring her up, I'm going to go over some housekeeping rules. You know how I do. If you are watching me on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. If you are watching me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or any of the other platforms, make sure you click like and share if you're blessed by the content that we have been bringing each and every Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and play this quick video, and then the next person you'll see alongside of me will be that of my special guest, Crystal Kelly. Make sure you call up your girlfriends and tell them Sisterhood Check-In is on the air, and I'll be right back after this.
Sometimes it's not enough to be reminded that Jesus hasn't left you or forgotten you. We need to declare it over ourselves, over others. No matter the season you may find yourself in, no matter the depths of darkness you're wading through, you can join him in declaring the truth that God is light upon your feet, whether or not you can see the next step, that God is your strength, even though the weight of life seems to be crushing you down. And that when your job, your marriage, your relationship, your health feels like it's coming to a dead end, there is only one God that can make dead things live again. These are his promises, and they're the only thing you need to declare over your life. So as you step into this next season or this next moment, you can declare that God's not done with you. He's just getting started. You can declare that the good work that he has started in you, he will surely complete it. You can declare that the same God that parted the seas goes before you, goes behind you. You can declare these promises over your life, over your family's life, over the people passing on the street. You can declare these truths over every circumstance, over every season of your life. You can declare that every day belongs to him and every new breath belongs to him. Because we have the power of a living.
We are back here on Sisterhood Check-In. Welcome, Crystal Kelly, to Sisterhood Check-In.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Let's kick this off right, though. Let's kick this off right. 40 plus?
What? 40 plus double that 40 I'm probably saying it all wrong. I'm still new, so I just know I'm probably making us look bad, sis, but I'm still learning all the order 40 plus stuff that goes with it. I'm still learning. Y'all work with me, right? That's like being a sister that's a part of a group, a social club, and she starts off wrong. Like, yeah,
That's okay. We'll pick you up all the time, so you get it right.
See, she helped me last week when I was like totally the week before last when I was like totally like off track. So I've only been in it like for like 3 weeks. So I'm still learning all the good stuff. But welcome, Crystal, to Sisterhood Check-In. I'm excited because this is your first time here on Sisterhood Check-In, and we met through the Double Dutch Club and you have such an amazing spirit. I knew it from the first time I met you. You're very bright and bubbly, and you can definitely tell that smile that you portrayed in front of everybody, that there's a story behind that smile. And so that's the part that I really, that was one of when I was thinking about the title for this podcast, I really wanted to really dig in to what has gotten you, because everybody has a story behind their smile. So I want to ask you, what is the story behind this bright, illuminated person that I see when we're at Double Dutch? What is the story? I know you have a lot going on, but I want you to tell us, how did you get to where you are right now?
So, I mean, that's an interesting question. And, I don't think that I am at a final destination, or where I am is quite developed yet, right? So I'm still on this journey of discovering, of learning, of growing. And for this space and place that I'm at right now, I would have to say that it's just been a divine order of God. Nothing and everything at the same time has been of my plan. I think even from the moment, I was born, I'm the seventh child from my mom's side, but the only survivor. So we moved around a lot when I was young. My mom and I moved around a lot. So I like to say that I grew up bi-coastal on the East Coast and the West Coast, because I was born and raised in Connecticut, but I spent a good portion of my childhood growing up in California, several parts of California. And then I relocated back to Connecticut. So that's always been my home spot. But throughout my life, it has, just like many others, incurred ups and downs. And throughout those ups and downs has brought me to different locations with different people in different circumstances to make the woman that I am today.
Now, when you said you're the seventh child and the only survivor, what do you mean by that? Are you the only sibling that's left? Did your other siblings pass away?
Yes. So my mom had some stillborns. She had an ectopic pregnancy and some miscarriages. I am the only pregnancy that was brought to term, and I was a preemie. So shout out to all the preemies out there.
My youngest son is a preemie.
Yes. So shout out to the preemies. We are survivors. We are fighters. So I was born 2 months early, also in the 7th month of pregnancy. And I just have a special place in my heart for all the preemies that are thriving and surviving.
Yeah, I tell you, we all have a story and something that we've overcome, that even when we look at when we are a child. You said that you were the only survivor, just thinking about all the siblings that didn't make it and how you were able to make it to full term. I understand that completely, because from what I was told with my family, with my mom, like I have 2 younger brothers, but my mom had told me that she was actually getting ready to abort me, and she changed her mind at the last minute. So I look at all the things that I've done. I look at my children and I look at what they've accomplished, and I look at what God has done in my life. And I'm like, man, you would have canceled out a whole generation of people. And she probably didn't even realize it. I'm sure she probably looks now and just be like, wow, looking at, because I think out of all of my siblings, they're still, I'm the only one that's living out loud in terms of getting in front of people and sharing my testimony. And, my brothers, they're kind of like, to themselves. They don't really, they don't really like to mingle with a lot of people. I'm the only out. I'm like, I consider myself an ambivert. Some days I'm like, an introvert, and some days I'm out and about. So, I'm the only one that's living out loud. And I don't think that that's haphazard, that it ended up that way. Because I believe that even growing up, everybody used to tell me, you talk too much. You do this too much. You always got something to say, because I was always very expressive about, what I felt, and I didn't hold back.
Right.
I let you have it,
Right.
And so what would be some of the things that while you were growing up, what did you notice even at a young age that God was setting you apart? Or was it something in your life that happened that caused you to realize, because you're doing some great things? Like I've been on your page. I've been on your website. You're doing some amazing things. So did it start at an adulthood, or were you as a child starting to understand some things as you were growing up and realize, wait a minute, God's hand is on my life and he's doing something and I need to figure this out?
Actually, no, I was the complete opposite. Always had friends, lots of family. My family's huge. So I never, even though I was the only child, I did not grow up kind of as an only child because I had so many cousins and family members around me that I was never really lonely. But for some reason, despite all the love and family around me, I always had kind of a feeling in my heart that I did not belong. That, like, I didn't want to be here anymore because I just felt like it just felt like I didn't belong, and I didn't want to be anywhere that I didn't belong. So I grew up actually with suicidal thoughts, and I had some suicidal attempts that, thank God, they failed, which again is why I say it's divine order of where I am today, that I'm even here, because I've sat in rooms with, strangulation, like ropes around my neck or a knife to my wrist, or, just different things, contemplating different ways for me to, not be here anymore. I am the same. I'm very outgoing when I need to be, but at heart, I'm an introvert. Like, I love my alone time. I love, I'm super laser focused when I have a task at hand, and I prefer to complete those tasks in solitude. So, but if you put me in the room of multi people, and ask me to speak on a subject, I'm right there. Like I'm very, very comfortable in front of crowds, but I'm very uncomfortable when it comes to being vulnerable and opening up to anyone, anytime in a group. And I've learned to grow from that because it is a part of growth. So at a young age, I noticed that I was always kind of playing the role to get by, like I wasn't really, so much up here with all of the popular kids, but I wasn't like down here with the non-popular kids. I was somewhere comfortable in the middle. And as long as I'm playing the role to get along with everyone, even within my family. But my mom used to warn me all the time, like, Crystal, you got way too many friends. And what that means that you're accommodating yourself, or you're going along with too much. Because once you stand for something, you're going to lose a lot of people. And once you identify like who you are as an individual based on your own terms is not going to fit for everyone. So until I learned to do that and learn who I really am for me and who God made me to be, that is when she was right. A lot of people fell off from my life. But I also truly discovered places and spaces that I did belong, which helped me discover my purpose, and not to early plug, but that is the reason why I wrote my book, Learning to Love Myself. I am purposely made, because I was made on purpose, by purpose, and for a purpose. And that is what I had to really define for myself and learn for myself, and not only do that for myself, but also believe in myself.
That's powerful. You said a whole lot. Just by listening to you, I heard you say that you had a problem with being vulnerable. Normally, what I found is that when there's a struggle to be vulnerable, something, whether it's a trauma or rejection, something, usually there's always a bottom there's always a cause and effect. What would you say kind of caused you to kind of be in that place where you felt like you couldn't be vulnerable?
Low self-esteem. Definitely.
Mm.
I grew up with low self-esteem. I was taken advantage of at a young age, around 12 years old, kind of molested and manipulated, like that manipulation, mental manipulation. And it's very subtle sometimes.
Mm.
So yeah, it's that caused me to shut down in a lot of situations because, expressing your thoughts or how you feel, and you have someone telling you that you won't be believed, or, like, because of my low self-esteem, I felt like certain things I should put up with or accept for myself because I wouldn't get anything better. Or, like, who am I to want more or get more when I'm just, a person from the lower, part of town, or scraping up by my bootstraps. So it's kind of like, not only was I fed lies and manipulation, but I fed myself deceit because I didn't believe in myself, and I had low self-esteem. I did not believe that, I grew up really small, smaller than everybody, really skinny, big forehead, this, that. So
my God, we sound like we have a similar story.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, if you look at pictures from me in high school, I'm always covered up, like a bang or baggy clothes. Even, I thank God, because that was the style, like baggy clothes. So I got away with it, but I didn't wear baggy clothes because it was the style. I wore baggy clothes because it hid my body shape, and I was not I was not a shapely person, and when you're surrounded by family members and women that, developed early or had shapes, and it was admired, or this, that, and the third, it plays on your psyche. It really does.
Yeah, that I do understand. I remember growing up having that same insecurity of big forehead. I've always was the smallest person out of all of my group, but I always knew something was different and unique. I didn't know how to explain the different. I always felt like an outcast, but now as I've gotten older, I realized it was just God was just setting me apart. And I just didn't know that that's what that was. I just thought, I was always wanting to fit in with a certain group of people. And if I didn't get in with a group of people, I would feel like, like, oh, they don't want me. They don't want to be around me because I'm small. I'm not big like them. I didn't have big boobs, I didn't. And I wasn't the girl to be stuffing tissue in my breast. I was but I was very small. And I was always feeling like I didn't feel secure in being able to be who I really felt like I was. And that was because, and I think environment does play a role when you're, especially in those times when we were growing up, there's a lot of things that were just happening in and around us that was just acceptable. And so it was almost like when you start to express or even think to express how you feel, it's like you're looked at as, oh girl, you'll be fine,
Yeah. And I overcompensated by my personality. So I always assimilated myself into whatever environment I needed to. So no one ever knew that I was wearing a mask. No one ever knew how I felt inside. I was always joking or laughing or playing or visiting or, like I said, I was surrounded by people. So a bigger, better personality, like I made sure I was in the crowd, but not in the front. So I'm always included. I never felt excluded. In even my family, like we're loud and we're funny and we're loving and but we crack jokes and there's back and forth. There's no reason for you to really, come forward, be that forward person, because we're all that forward person.
It was a safe place for you to hide. It was a safe place for you to hide.
Exactly. And then I brought that same energy to whatever environment I needed to assimilate to be a part of, So when you look at me, like you said, oh, when I met you, you had this smile and whatever, but you don't know that I spent that night before crying myself to sleep, So it's like, I am who I need to be to fit into the moment, because every day it's a fight, right? I look at depression as kind of like alcoholism or something. Like, you may be over it, but it never really kind of leaves you. So it's something
like the thorn in the flesh.
Yes, you constantly have to acknowledge the fact of how you're feeling, and then fight those feelings. Like, I fight those feelings with the word of God. I know a lot of people like, good. I'm not trying to, force my God on you, but I am very faith-based, and I speak life over myself. Like, I have to, because like I said, I'm here for a purpose. Like, God does not make mistakes. So why would I allow the enemy to make me believe as though he did make a mistake when he created me? He said, I created you on purpose. Like, I know every hair that's on your head, and, I know your thoughts before you even know your thoughts. So I am a on person being. Like, you purposely thought of me. You purposely created me for your praise and your worship. Like, you can't do anything but, thank a great God like that, because he does not have to do any of it.
Yeah. I think the loving thing about God is that not only when we're in those places where we start to feel like, that our esteem is, that we feel low, in our esteem, is that when we use the word of God as our affirmation to restore our esteem and bring it up to a high level, would you say, I know this happens for me, but would you say that when that happens, because you've been that type of person, and because you're still that sort of person in different circumstances, when not in every circumstances, but would you say it makes you highly sensitive to other people who you might see that might appear to be the center of attention, or they might seem to be overly bubbly? Or does it make you sensitive and be able to discern and be able to see that they could be dealing with the same thing? Does it make you more sensitive?
I wouldn't say sensitive, but I have learned, and I have created platforms to let people know, if they come to me, like, I know where you're coming from. So I'm more, I lead with that, because I notice a lot of times when people talk about different things, like things they're struggling with, and it may be depression, it may be suicide, it may be, I don't know, sexual addiction or something like that. We all are pieces to this bigger puzzle, right? So we're not going to fit in every situation. So I don't open myself up to every situation, but when there is a similar situation or happenstance that I am around, I lead with the fact, I know and I understand what you're going through or what you're experiencing, because this is what I have overcome. And what, albeit where I may not grasp 100% of your story, I can be a resource to let you know that there is strength, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I never understood that piece of it and how important that is to people until I lost my mom. And people, and I noticed that, like, a lot of people would say, I'm sorry for your loss, I know what you're going through. But their mom is like down the street or on the end of the phone. So you don't know what I'm going through. But those people who were in the boat along with me, when they spoke to me differently, because they actually knew what I was going through. I had people that would call me or text me in the void. They would talk about the fact that you felt, I know it's cliche, it's a song, but the fact that you felt like a motherless child, like who would you be able to say mine to again? Like until you have walked that walk, you can't
Right.
say, I know what you're going through. You can say, I
Right.
empathize with you.
Right.
Yeah, probably. So when it comes to a situation like that I am unfamiliar with, I try, and the situation is brought to me, or I try to align those people with resources that I may have. But as far as me being sensitive enough to like comfort or counsel or talk to, unless I'm directly able to be a shoulder, a ear, a help, a resource, I would rather refer than to pour out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think when I was saying being sensitive is being able to easily spot, you know how normally if you've had an injury in a particular area, you see somebody else rubbing that area that you have had that same thing. Not necessarily that I think we all by nature want to advise, or redirect. But I was saying sensitive and being heightened and aware, being able to spot it. I know for me, sometimes because of some of the things that I've gone through, it's easy for me to see it and spot it when I see. So I'll know how to pray or how to, if God allows me to interact with them. That's what I meant by being sensitive, being able to see it, because sometimes you have some people that may say, hey, I'm dealing with this, I'm feeling like this. And like you said, if they've never been through that, they don't know how to respond to you. And like I tell people, I may not know what it's like to have lost a mother, but I do know what it's like. And I know that's very different than any other pain. But I know what it's like to lose. I know what it's like to lose a loved one. I know what it's like. I lost my dad. I lost my husband. And so though I don't have to, and it is different when somebody has actually experienced the same thing. Sometimes they can use the same words as somebody else. It's different coming from somebody who's been through it. You can have two people say the same thing, but it's just received different because they understand. So it's not just a cliche. They're saying it from a place that they understand. Exactly. Now you said something you said something about you having too many friends. Now, I think that's important because I've always been the type of person to say that it's nothing wrong with being friendly, because the Bible says if you want friends, you must show yourself friendly. But I do agree with your mom in a sense that when you have too many friends, because nowadays we use the word friendship very lightly,
Oh, no.
So, when you have too many friends, I do think I heard somebody say this and I was like, wow, I never really thought about that. And they said you have to be careful with somebody who has too many friends, because that means they're careless. They allow themselves to be too vulnerable when you consider somebody a friend. Now, you can have a lot of people around you that you're connecting with in terms of being social and stuff like that. But when you think of friends, having a lot of friends, it can be a dangerous thing to have a lot of friends, because it makes you're scattered. Because guess what? Friendship requires reciprocation, right? How can you genuinely reciprocate to all of these people, right? If all of these people is considered your friend, you have different circles, and you can have different circle of friends. You can have close friends. You can have, extended friends, which means they're not people that you talk to all the time, but they are near and dear to you. You guys can talk to each other about anything. And then you have your circle of friends that are like your ride or die. They the ones that know the core of who you are, and they are like Moses, they're the ones that are holding up your hands when you can't take it anymore. So I do find that interesting that your mom said that. And I think that's so true, that even in friendship, you have to steward the people that are around you and figure out, okay, who is in my inner circle and who are people that I can contribute to. But if there's no level of reciprocation, I'm not falling out on the ground crying, if I don't get the reciprocation, because I'm not really expecting that,
Yeah. And in the saying, it bolds true. I don't call people friends lightly or have many friends, because the saying is true, birds of a feather, they do flock together. And I don't allow myself in all atmospheres. Now, I have no judgment,
Right,
because what's for you is for you. But when you set a standard about who you are in your walk of life, that is not going to fit with everyone. So for me, the difference is I didn't have a standard back then. So I had a lot of people. Like I fit in any group that I went into. I was accepting of what kind of activities happened around me and eventually to me. So I'm very good at compartmentalizing people. Like, you are my associate, you are, somebody that I may speak to. Hey, nice to see you. Okay. Talk to you later sometime in the future or whatever, like high and by, and you keep it moving. I have maybe this many people, if even that many, that I consider friend / family, non-blood related, but friend / family, because it like you said, it is a reciprocation, but it is a pouring out and a pouring in.
Right.
It is a respect. My friends respect who I am and where I come from and what I stand on, and vice versa. They don't try to make me be like them, and I don't have that expectation of me, but we are a support system for each other. I talk about this data dumping in my book. So you should have a safe space where you're able to data dump and release yourself of everything inside. And those are who my friends are, And I'll give you a perfect example too of the support and how that works, because like I don't drink and I don't go to clubs.
Right.
My friends, some of my friends do. No judgment. But like, so it's not like I haven't been. So like, if I go into a place or something's coming up, they'll be like, oh no, that ain't for Crystal. Or they'll shut it down before I shut it down. And I'm like, oh, I can speak. It's like, but that's the friendship. That's the relationship that we have with each other.
That's
we're
awesome.
not yes men to each other. I'm able to voice my thoughts and my opinions, regardless if that's something they want to hear, and they could do the same. Like I tell them all the time, like I'll take a hard truth over a soft lie any day. Don't make me think or something is okay and it's not. At the end of the day, they know I'm going to make up my own mind, but they're wrong to not, let me know, hey friend, hey sis, you being a little, or you going in the wrong direction or something like that. But you need that accountability. And I think that's the word that I was searching for. Like friendship, true friendship is accountability with each other. Other than that, there's no room at the end. Like I can high and by you, I can be friendly, I can, but as far as making that, carving out that piece of my life,
I think that's so true. I think the older I get, the more I realize what real friendship really is. And I realize both ways, like what do I contribute to a friendship and what do I expect from a friendship. And I think over being a woman that has had, pretty much a lot of the friendship I've had for years. Like my best friend, I've had the same friends for years, and I have a group of people that, that are accountable. I know there are sometimes in some cases where throughout my life, I've had some friends that I've kind of grown. And because I've grown, it has made me unrelatable to them. So they look, sometimes when you grow, you have that growth remorse because you're growing, your mindset's changing. Some things ain't funny no more. Some things is, you realize I'm not that's not me anymore. And so that can sometimes create where friends will sometimes kind of pull away. When I first had my children when I was younger, I've had friends that I was like, oh my God, I just, and then what happened is, as I started to become a mom, they started to separate, then they were like, oh, we can't really relate to her. She can't really hang out like she used to. And that was heartbreaking for me, because I felt like I was that type of person. I wanted to feel like, oh my gosh, I wanted to be in the in crowd, or not even in the major in crowd, but I wanted to be a part of something, because that came from a lack of not really knowing who I was, not really, when you're young and you're growing older, you're still kind of finding yourself. You're navigating through life, figuring out who you are. That's why I tell my kids all the time, you're not going to figure out life in your 20s. It's just not going to happen. It's going to once you'll realize that the wisdom that you learn in your 20s, by the time you're 30, you're going to realize, oh, wow, I've grown from there. So I felt like when some of my friends were moving away because I was becoming a mom. So now my mindset was, okay, hang out, all times of night like I did before. And it's like that even as you get older and as you grow, you realize, okay, I can't live that life like that anymore. Right. And it can sometimes cause growth remorse, where you start to feel like, dang, I'm alone. I don't feel like I have that many people around me. But the people that I do have around me, I make sure it's the same people. And that's how I know, especially with us talking about walking in purpose. Yes. I know that some people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And it's up to us to determine that, so that we're not carrying people into our future that really can't go with us.
Don't align with you. And it's okay to let them go respectfully. We have this thing that we say at my church, like, this may not be the right fit for you. And that's okay. Like, we can move on in peace and love. Right. But you said something that made me strike a chord really quick. I thought one of the things that I learned, even being a mom, especially being a mom, and my son, he's 19 now, and he's, the expectation, right, for people to force these young people to grow up so soon is ridiculous to me. When you're a baby, a toddler, a child, you are fully dependent on your parent and your environment to show you how to walk and talk and be. You learning right from wrong. You've never been 2 before, 3 before, 4 before. All of a sudden, you turn 18, 19, the eyes of the law says you're an adult, but you've never been there before. How do you know? Right. What are you supposed to know? All of your life, pretty much, you've been governed by a certain set of rules that don't apply anymore. Like, I get up in the morning, I go to school, I see my friends, I eat lunch with my friends, I come home, my parents have an expectation. But now you're 18, you're 19, you're 20, and unless you're like in school, like college, but if not, what is the roadmap? So because I'm a quote unquote adult in the eyes of the law, am I ready to fully stop learning who I am as an individual and be out in the world with no roadmap? No. Like, I just think like you said, when you're in your 20s, you're still learning and discovering. Yes, because guess what? Now those strings and those attachments are starting to come off. Just like when you rode a bike, you had training wheels on there for a particular amount of time, until you can learn to take them off. And when you took them off, you probably was still wobbling for a minute until you learned to truly ride the bike solid. You did that for a minute until you built up enough endurance and courage and everything to get pretty good at it. Then you popping willies. And you do curves. It took experience. It took guidance, and I just thought that just struck a thought in my head when you were talking about that. Like, in your 20s, you're still learning, your 30s, you're looking back like, yes, because you've never been in that period of time before. So, it's just amazing to me how so many young people that I see and stuff nowadays, even for the clothing, just won't let kids be kids. Like, let
Yeah.
kids be kids. Let
Yeah.
them fall in the dirt and dress appropriately for a toddler and for a teen. Like, why are we looking at a 13 or 14-year-old girl dressed half naked and she's wearing matching outfits with her mom that's 40 and they're both looking like they're about to go to the club? Why? Like, where are our boundaries and our standards for kids just to be kids?
Yeah.
They got all the rest to be an adult, and it ain't as fun as people make it seem.
No, it's not. It's not cute at
all.
all.
No rush to get there. Like, let kids be kids and let them grow up at the speed and time it takes for them to go. Because a lot of them are wearing hats or wearing clothes that don't fit. And I don't mean that literally. I mean that metaphorically. They're wearing a lifestyle that they're just not ready for. And that's because they were forced into a period of time way before they were ready to do it. It's like forcing your child to walk and he just learned how to crawl. How can you expect him to survive or, develop appropriately? No.
Yeah, I so agree with that. That's why I think as parents, even as a young parent, because I was a young parent, right? And one of the things I learned early is I realized that I am responsible for the outcome. This is going to be somebody's mom. And I saw you wrote something on your post because I was looking at your page and you were saying, let little girls be little girls. And I think the problem is, and I heard Miles Monroe say this, and it really is true when you think about it. He said, as girls, and you know how we were when we were young, what's the first thing we learn how to do? Our parents get us dolls and get us stuff and they teach us how to be a mom, right? So we're spending the majority of our youth learning how to be moms while the boys are learning how to be boys, right? They're going out, they're learning how to run in the dirt and play. And for young girls, we're learning how to do domestic things, right? And not really. And what happens is, I like what he said. He said, then when those same young girls become adults, they don't know who they are because they spent most of their life trying to fit into this mold of being a wife and a mother. And so that's all they know. And so when they are no longer a wife or a mother, whether that's through being a widow or through the relationship not working or whatever, they don't know.
Never married like
or
me.
never married. They don't know who they are. So what they do is the culture defines who they are. So now that's what's happening. You got a lot of young girls. I remember I had a mentoring program when I lived in Florida, and I've had it for like 3 years straight. And one of the things that I've learned in talking to these young girls, and I said that because I want to get to the program that you're doing, the one with the chess. And I think that's really awesome. But one of the things that I learned in that program is, as I was mentoring, we would basically do mentorship in the daytime, and then I would teach them entrepreneurial skills in the afternoon and teach them how to start their own businesses and stuff. And what I realized is that a lot of them really did not even know that it was even possible. To them, it was like strange teaching them that it's okay to discover things about who you are and knowing how to set boundaries, knowing how to date it. To them, they were like, that was like, what? You can really do that? Because they are in households with parents that don't set boundaries, right? And what happens is, when you live in a household where your parents are young, or your parents is living that life, that club life, the kids are more than likely, that's what they feel like, that's what they see. So they emulate what they see. And so when you ask them about them, they don't know. They look at you like, well, what? The only person that they have in front of them is their parents or their siblings or whoever that main influence is in their life. And so through that program, we went through Purpose-Driven Life. We went through the book, and we had a lot of discussions around identity, and being able to know who you are. Because if you don't define who you are, I promise you, by the time you become a young adult, somebody's going to be telling you who you are. And if somebody's telling you who you are, it may not fit the person that you feel like you are, which is why you got all these rebellious young adults, right? Because people have the culture, and people have told them who they are, and they haven't taken that time to really find out who God created them to be. So you've got a program that I noticed that I saw, because I went through your website and stuff like that. Was it a chess for let me see what the name
It's called Queen Me Girls Chess Club.
Yes, talk to us about that. Well, before you do that, I'm going to take a quick break so you can get some water or something, and I'm going to play these commercials, and then we're going to come back, and I want you to talk to us about that, because one of the things I really want to know is that what inspired you to start this group, and what have you taken from your life that has that you're using to contribute in this chess game. So we're going to be right back. Make sure you call up your girlfriends and tell them, yo, Crystal is on the air with the team. Talking some good stuff. So
check in, sis. Check in.
Yes, and we'll be right back. We're gonna go and play a couple of commercials, and we'll be right back after this.
Help me to trust him again with my heart and not be scared, looking over my shoulder when it comes to his actions because I felt betrayed by him. Help me to trust his good intentions towards me.
All right, y'all, it's about that time now. She's a woman of God. She's a woman of grace. She's a woman of the marketplace. She's a woman of God. She's a woman of...
May not be physically with you,
They're in your church.
but I am sitting next to you.
Different face.
Different name.
same story though that goes like this.
I've done some terrible things in my life,
Some of them I chose to do.
and I own these choices.
But others, I just feel like I was swept up in a series.
Been a series of circumstances that didn't involve my will.
They just sort of happened to me.
I've become the culmination of those choices and circumstances.
So I guess I just need to say it.
I really
Really.
Need some help.
Hi, I'm Nadira, author, life and business coach, and founder of the Sisterhood Checkin Podcast. I help women take their life experiences and turn them into life lessons. Book a call with me at bit.ly/coaching with Nadira. I look forward to helping you get to the other side of victory. Have a wonderful day. We are back here on Sisterhood Check-In with my special guest, my 40-plus double Dutch partner over here, Crystal Kelly, who is doing such an amazing job here in the community in Atlanta, Georgia. And we left prior to the commercials talking about her Queen of Chess. What is it? Queen of Chess?
Queen Me.
Queen Me Chess Club, where you teach young girls about self-esteem, empowerment. Talk to us a little bit about that chess club, and then I'm going to bring it up on the screen while you're talking about it.
Yes, so Queen Me Girls Chess Club was developed because I found that a lot of women or young girls did not know how to play the game of chess. It's similar to kind of what you were talking about before, like we're kind of steered in a certain direction when given toys. But in my research, it was so many men and boys that knew how to play chess. And chess is such a strategic game. It's mentally challenging, but also you can apply many of it, the rules to grow the game of chess to life. So I built a 6-week workshop development program that teaches young girls about personal development, strategic thinking, and decision-making skills, as well as I like to say goal getting instead of goal setting, because we work on achieving and working towards your goal, not only just setting them. They're goal getters. So, and I keep the queen piece near me at all time, because I know it's underspoken, but she is the most powerful piece on the board. So
she is.
So yeah, and yes, that's why I got started.
I think that's amazing. I've seen somebody, I know a friend of mine that did something like this for young boys, but I think that's real. Now, I'm not a chess player. I'm not that, I need to learn. I would love to learn chess. I know the basics of chess, but I don't know. But it does have a lot of life skills that you can actually apply and learn. And the one thing that I did know, if I didn't know anything else, I know that the queen is she is the one that runs the board. She keeps the king, and I was just like so excited about that. So you're gonna have to teach me that one day. I'm gonna have to come in.
She is a true partner to her king, and she can move in any direction she wants to move. She is governed and protected by the knights, the bishops, and she gives direction in order to the pawn. So you have to think about that in respect to being a woman, in respect to growing up in a male dominated world, knowing that in setting forth the belief up front that I can do and be anything I set my mind to. I can move in any direction I want. And it doesn't take away from the power of the king. I am truly his support.
I love that.
We go through all of that with Queen Me. I want you to know you are a queen. Queen Me.
Wow. I love that. Now, is this a program that's held all year long, or is it just during certain times of the year?
So actually, since COVID, I've had to kind of revamp since COVID and moving to Georgia. I've had to revamp location and timing. So right now, it's being offered on a requested basis. So some programs, I know I've worked with different schools and counties since I've been here in Georgia. They have requested the program to be a part of, a particular segment that they're running during a particular time. But I am looking to gather a time during the year where it's more regularly offered, but right now it's on a requested basis.
Wow, I love that. Now you also you have so many awesome things going on. I also noticed that you have the Boston Heels. The Boston Heels. Talk to us about the Boston Heels.
So Boston Heels was it's another workshop that I have specifically for women. It's one day. And it is for entrepreneurs that are just getting out and starting their own business, that want a little direction, advice from other business owners. It's a resume workshop. It's a workshop for women that are already maybe at one point of their career, but want to learn how to position themselves to go to the next point in their career. Just how to self-develop again. And I am the recipient of Women's Leadership Educational Program in the Cornell School of Business. Also, nice. Women's Leadership Program through several different certifications through my job. So I've learned different tricks and techniques that HR directors, I work with HR directors all of the time. So I've learned different programs, techniques, styles, communication styles that they look for in when hiring and promoting. So this workshop is all about that. So I have people coming from different areas. We concentrate on the difference between marketing and branding, because those are not the same thing.
No, they're not.
We go over how to effectively set up and utilize your LinkedIn network. That's a whole, field on its own. A lot of people use that similar to how they use maybe Facebook. Those are two completely different platforms meant for different things. A lot of employers go to LinkedIn as your first stop when they receive your resume. They want to look for, your associates, who you're associated with. Because again, going back to our earlier conversation, birds of a feather do flock together. And so they look for those things, so that's what this workshop is all about, especially and specifically just for us women, because again, we're in a male dominated role, and I want us to empower each other, support each other, lift each other up, and learn from each other. So that's what that daily workshop is for.
That's awesome. And you can go to her website, and I'll have her website. I'll post her website also in the comments also, so that those that are interested, that want to be a part of it, can actually be a part of it. Now, is this workshop on demand also? Is this more of a virtual workshop, or is it on?
No, it is in person, and I am gearing up to have a live one early in May of this year. And so yeah, be on the lookout for that. And I'm hopefully going to be able to hold this twice next year. It was done one time this past year, but I'm looking to have 2 workshops this coming year, one in May and one in August.
Okay. So you guys, I'm going to go ahead and put her website. I'll have that throughout the show, so you guys can also look out. Now, you also have, which is what we started out talking about before we went live, is the I Am Beautiful Awards. Now, I think this is so amazing, because this is truly an example of a woman that's walking in purpose, because not only are you're taking the lessons, and I call them nuggets, from the things that you've learned in life. You're not just taking all that information and just, sitting in a corner and just saying, woe is me. You're doing something about it. You're stepping out in the community, and you're saying, I want to be a voice for those people, because there's times that you mentioned in our conversation in the first half, where you didn't feel, you felt like you were in the midst of people, but still feeling a sense of not belonging. So what is this I Am Beautiful Awards mainly about? What type of people is it geared towards?
First, you'll notice that a lot of what I'm involved in, including my book and the name of this gala and the name of Queen Me, it is about speaking life and affirmation over yourself. So you'll notice the I am is in quotation marks. I am beautiful. Survivors Award is to honor and celebrate women survivors of mental, emotional, and physical abuse. We come together and we stand up, clap our hands, lift our heads for those that are thriving and surviving after tragedy. And it is to also spread a message that, there is life, just because you have these emotional scars on you does not take away from who you are as a beautiful light to someone else and to yourself. So I put this on to give a voice, a platform, a stage to women to be celebrated for coming through such a dark place.
Wow, I love this. That's such a beautiful picture of you. Wow.
Thank you.
I love that. And for those of you, Crystal is her website. She is open for nominees. If you know someone that you want to nominate for this I Am Beautiful gala, you can also go to her website and she can fill out the form that she has. And don't do like I did, answer all the questions specifically and very detail oriented. So she will be able to properly select and know exactly what you've gone through so that she can be able to help decide who will be the best candidate for the I Am Beautiful. So are they getting like a reward? Like what are the prizes?
They get awarded. They get awards the year that I started this. Look at my girls celebrating themselves. Like
I love it. I love it. That dress is beautiful. I love it.
Those are my survivors too.
Wow. So awesome.
They do. They get awards and gifts from me. They also have been blessed to get city citations from the senator in Connecticut, Douglas Murray. And when I started the event here, the mayor of Forest Park, Mayor Butler, she attended my very first one in Georgia. And, she then came along. There she is right there. She then came along and partnered with me for the following two that I had. And she presented them with gifts.
Is this her right here? Wow.
Yes,
awesome.
That's Mayor Butler. So when I was very hesitant about bringing it to Georgia, but then God just made a way and she came to my first one and she partnered with me for the next two, but I've since taken it back on as a solo project. But it's been and we had some city representatives this past year in April to attend and recognize these women for the value and assets that they are to not only themselves, their family, but to those around them in the city. So I've been blessed enough to receive government or city, acknowledgement for this platform that I've built to give women survivors a voice and a stage to say, I am beautiful despite.
Wow. I love that. I love that. You're doing so much, girl. How do you have time to get all this done and work and
girl, I'm not married. So my son is 19. So it's like,
well, that's understandable.
Yeah. But I've been, God has given me the vision for these things. And he's thankfully given me the provision to carry them out. And I thank God.
That's important.
For every day. If you scroll up, if you don't mind, I thank God every day that, some people up. So some people they say you do way too much or what specifically do you do? And honestly, I do whatever God gives me the vision to do. Sometimes it may not fit neatly or cleanly into one definition. And I'm okay with that because I allowed that to deter me for a while because I didn't fit specifically into a category or anything like that. But now I don't. I walk in the purpose that God has set before me. And he allowed me to have these, to give a voice to the voiceless, and to create a platform for women of all ages to come together to be a voice and a support system to each other. So where you have Sisterhood Check-In and all these women can come together and check in with each other on different topics, I have different platforms and workshops that different women of all ages from young to more seasoned can come together to learn, to grow, to develop, and to give life to someone else. in
I
3
love
different
that.
categories.
I love that. Now, when is the gala? I know you said it's in 2025. You said April?
Yes, it
April
will
of
be.
25?
Yep, and the actual date is still being determined due to location, but for the past 8 years, it's been past 4 years, excuse me, it's been in April.
So for all of you that know somebody that has survived or have survived any type of mental or emotional abuse or even physical abuse, make sure there's a link here at the bottom where you can nominate them. Make sure you go to that website and nominate somebody that you know, even if it's yourself, and nominate somebody who you feel that is worthy of being celebrated. Because let me tell you something, we all have that human need and that human desire to feel like we're appreciated or that we're valued. We want to have, it's a core need, you know, and that's one of the things I've learned even in developing different relationships, whether it's friendships or just relationships in general, is that being able to identify what your core needs are. And when you're able to identify what your core needs are, you know how to build relationships around that. You know how to, you know what fits into your life and what doesn't. And I think Crystal's programs that she have here is just amazing. And I think it supports that. If you feel like you've not been heard and you've been overlooked and you've been feeling like you haven't been appreciated for your core values and that you've been taken advantage of emotionally and physically, you know, financially or whatever, make sure you nominate yourself or nominate somebody that you know that deserves this award. Because trust me, everybody to some degree wants to feel like they're appreciated. Now you also have,
I'm sorry. Can I
no,
introduce
go ahead. No,
you?
go ahead.
I have a scripture that I like
Mhm.
to live, you know, in
Okay.
when we're walking in our purpose and everything, we should remember, you know, to carry your purpose with love. Not only is God love, but love is an action. And there's a scripture that I like, 1 John 4:12, where it says, if we love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us. So if we have perfect love, we are constantly doing and being active in that love, and then opening ourselves up to receiving that perfect love, which is God.
Awesome. I love that. Now help me explain that, because I always like to hear, because sometimes I think it's important to understand, what does that look like? What is that your interpretation of what you feel that scripture says? What does that look like for an average person who wants to carry out that same purpose and they want to do whatever it is that God called them to do with love? What does that look like?
That looks like selflessness. That looks like carrying out, like you said, your divine purpose, walking in your purpose, doing something because it's not of self. It's not of your mind. Sometimes it's going to cause you to come out of your comfort zone. And, you know, that innate feeling that you naturally get to outreach to someone, to pick someone else when they're down, to maybe create a platform for someone to help have a voice, or, you know, to lend a hand when you may not have a hand to lend, but you have that innate feeling to be there. It's always building up instead of tearing down. I think that is what he means by, you know, what the scripture means is if we love one another, because God is love. That's an action. It's not words. My mom used to say, you can make your mouth say anything, but it's what you do. It's what you do that matters. So you can't just say I love you without an action. You know, what does your action, what does your love look like? What does it do? And it says, if we do that to one another, if we love one another actively, he dwells within us. So we're pouring out, but he's pouring in. And that love becomes perfect because you're not tearing down. You're not spreading hate, division, discord.
Yes.
You know, you're living in a active reciprocal environment and you're building that relationship with different people. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you keep giving out, you're going to keep giving in. The right It's like the right nutrients. So you're
Mm-hmm.
going to continue to grow and be strong. That's what that looks like. Like creating platforms like this, like Sisterhood Check-In and I Am Beautiful Survivors Award, not because we have to, but there was, and I'm only assuming it's the same for you, there was an innate desire
Mm-hmm.
within you
Mm-hmm.
to give a voice to someone else where your piece of the puzzle fits theirs and you can say, hey, let's do this together.
Yes, I love that. Yeah. And I think that's important because part of being in these emotional, abusive, type of relationships, you lose your voice because of the fear that's there. You tend to internalize, a lot of your thoughts and emotions. So I think this is amazing because you not only give them a voice, right, but you let them know that their voice is valid. And I think when people understand whether you agree with them or not, if you help them understand that their voice has validation, that you are meant, that it's important for you to be heard. It's important for you to be able to express how you feel, right, without feeling like you have to internalize everything. So I think that's amazing. And I wanted to kind of show a little bit of your gala on Facebook. I'm going to pull it up and show some of the pictures and stuff that is there, because I mean, you guys look like you were having a ball. You guys are having a ball.
Yeah, we do. It's a good night out. I start the day with pampering the survivors with they get a full makeover. They get some kind of art therapy or something during the day, and then they come back later on that night, and it's a black tie gala filled with family and friends that come to celebrate them. And it's a wonderful evening, and it's so it's just a wonderful evening. I've had people in the audience that has come to me afterwards that said through this experience they have gained the confidence to leave an abusive relationship, or they have met other people there that became a resource and an environment for a circle for them. So it's been an awesome journey.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
That's our first male survivor. That was my first male survivor right there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I love that, Crystal. Look at how happy they are. Look at
those are my survivors right there. They're awesome. They're awesome and amazing. And without them having the courage to step forward and be that for somebody else, this event would never be like it is. But I thank God that they found their voice and they were able to come out and be celebrated.
Wow, I love that. And I was on TikTok, and I'm on TikTok a lot, and I did a video. There's always a lot of conversations around narcissism and relationships where there's control or abuse. And one of the things that I've realized is I told one of the girls that when it comes to helping people get out of domestic violence relationships or emotionally abusive or physically abusive relationships, is we're quick to tell people you need to do this, or you're stupid, or you're dumb, or you deserve everything that you've gotten. You deserve it, And I said, it's almost like trying to pull somebody out of a fire, but you're breaking their neck trying to save their arm, right? Or you trying to break their leg trying to save their wrist, And I think sometimes we do so much damage because we are trying to overemphasize, trying to make people aware of the situation that they're already aware of. It's just sometimes you have to come in and you have to heal those broken places first that's inside of them. When you heal them, then they can see where they are. They can actually see things as they are, and they can have the confidence to walk away from those relationships. Because 9 times out of 10, when you're getting people to just when you're just trying to yank people out of a situation, 9 times out of 10, and you know this from being in this situation, you always go right back. You go back and you keep going back and you keep going back because you have not you have not had anybody to pour into you and to show you your self-worth, right? To see that you deserve more than what you've been receiving. And I think when you and that's what happened to me when I got out of my relationship, out of my marriage, and I was in abusive marriage for 15 years. One of the things that I realized that the people that were telling me that I'm dumb and I'm stupid and I get what I deserve and all this other stuff, it wasn't doing anything with causing me to feel like I deserved what I was getting. But the minute I had this one friend, and she used to say to me, she used to always tell me, look, this is something you can't run from. You're going to have to get down, and we're going to have to not only figure out a plan, but we've got to she really kind of helped me to really get into a place with God and say, God, I need a strategy. I need you to heal me, and I need you to help me get out of this situation. And he healed me first, right? And gave me the confidence to where I can stand up and say, I'm out. I'm doing this. So I wasn't no longer rooted in fear to leave. Now I had the confidence to know I deserve more. So it was easy for me to be like, I'm out. Now I just need a strategy so this joker don't kill me while I'm trying to get out,
Right.
I need a strategy. But I always tell people that if you're going to minister to women or you're going to help women that are in those relationships, you've got to be sensitive and you've got to build them up from the inside out. Snatching them out of stuff doesn't keep them out, doesn't keep them away. But the minute you are healed and you have allowed God to come in, it's easier for you to walk away and to stay away.
Right. And, providing the resource may not be you, the resource may be something else. And I've had city councilmen call me.
Wow.
Trying to create a plan, an escape plan. It takes, it really is more of a process and in depth than you may think. And it's not as easy to say, just get up and go. You can't.
Right.
Sometimes you can't. So there's a lot of different steps, a lot of different resources that I've been picked up along the way to help to provide to people, because everybody's route isn't the same. And again, my platform and my voice is just to empower and pour into other women. Like, this is what the through looks like. This is what triumph looks like. So, and I don't tend to focus on the tragedy because unfortunately it hits us way too often than it needs to. But as long as we continue to give the voice that women are not alone in this unfortunate club that we're a part of, you're not alone, but it is light at the end. There's thriving at the end. I think more people will start to stand up, talk about it, recognize it, and then eventually, prayerfully avoid it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Now, you also have, and I wanted to talk about this before we conclude, you also have, I think was awesome, where it's called the Just Because box. Talk to us about what that is.
Yes. So the Just Because box is that it's a thoughtful way to show someone you care without waiting for a holiday or birthday or reason. Like, it's just because, like, hey, I made, and it's for family or friend or loved one, you can, again, show love just because. So it's a box. It comes in 2 different sizes, small and big. And within the box is self-care items like bath salts and candles and motivational messages on like a keychain or pen. There's bombs in there, a bath salt. There's a keychain with a message. There's a pen with a message. There's a candle in there. The bigger box comes with a customized mug that says you are the special occasion. It comes with body butter. It comes with a sleep mask and everything. So it's just a little token of love just to show people, hey, I was thinking about you today, not for any specific reason, just because.
Oh, I love that.
There's a lotion in there.
I love that. Wow. You really do have you really have taken a lot of the pain and things that you've went through, and you've kind of like put your way of being able to contribute and to be able to reach back into a physical thing that people can grasp. They can, whether it's through a just because box, or whether it's through your gala, or whether it's through your mentorship program with the young girls. You really are an example, Crystal, of what it looks like to extend the love of God in such a way, because I'm sure as you're interacting with these people that you're not just only just giving them, you're talking about the triumphs, but I'm sure you're imparting into them and letting them know that your voice matters, your life matters. We always talk about Black Life Matters, but our voice matters. Each of us, everybody's voice matters. Right. Yes. And so I think it's important to really stress that. So if you guys are interested and wanting to be a part and want to be a part of the Just Because box, it is at the bottom of the screen. You can go to her website, thejustbecausebox.com, and get access. The holidays are coming up. It is a perfect gift. Is there a deadline, Crystal, to be able to get this done, or is this just all year round? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I got orders shipping out this weekend, actually. But
nice.
Yeah, so if they just go to my website and go to the shop, they can find the Just Because box there and order the small box or gift box, the big box. And I am putting some special touches in there for the holidays. If they want anything, if you want anything like more customized or anything, you can just leave a note in there. We can discuss customizing it on the back end. But right now, it's been I thank God, it's been a very good hit, with people. And who knew so many people wanted to just show love just because.
Wow. Now, is this a subscription base, or is this just a one and done? Okay, got you.
You need it. Like you can go in there and order whenever you. Your mini Amazon.
I love that. That's a really good way, especially if you're at work, or if you have somebody that may have just lost a loved one, or just just be able to say, hey, I got you a Just Because. That's like, now I've got an idea that I think that you might be, and I'll talk to you about it on camera, what you can do with that. Is that you can actually, and then I don't know if you've thought about it already, but you can actually take that Just Because box and you can actually put it on DoorDash, and you can have people, if I don't know how much of this stuff that you have available. But one of the things that I do as a mindset and business coach is I can, I understand branding and marketing too, but I'm really good in ideas, and I'm a visionary. And I can tell you, you can have that box literally set up on DoorDash to where somebody, because you never know, people that are in corporate, might want to do something like that. They might say, hey,
I've actually had it done at a business, and he did it for all of his co-workers and his secretary. He did a big box for his secretary, actually a big box for his wife as well. And then the small boxes for like his co-workers. So the reason, and I thank God for, the fact that it has been a hit. But the reason why I don't do things like that right now is because, again, it's a solo business. So supply might not meet the demand. I am backlogged for a couple orders, but I do appreciate that vision. That is a great thought. And, when I'm blessed enough to grow in inventory and everything like that, I probably will do something on a larger scale.
Nice.
But I'm trying to get the word out there. I'm trying to grow and, test the market. I'm still doing analysis. I've grown from even just that box that's on my site. We have colors and, I always receive feedback. One of my customers asked me if I could do, a child's box,
that would be so nice.
So I'm putting together a special box for that. So I'm ever growing. I'm always willing to learn and receive feedback. So definitely for right now, just go to thejustbecausebox.com and you can order, accordingly.
Nice. So you heard it from herself, from Crystal herself. If you guys want to be able to give a just because box and you just want to be an encouragement, because one of the things I realize is you may not always know what to say to people, but you can sure, I mean, a box, a just because box, tell it all. It'll be
That's
like,
right.
oh, she was thinking, and I love the writing that you have on it, just thinking, just because, so it's like letting them feel like they're appreciated, even if it's not, even if it's, because sometimes, we, what's that saying that says, preach the gospel, use words when necessary. So action is very, when
Action.
you can show up and be there as that support or send something like that to somebody, I think that's an amazing thing. I might have to do that for some people I know. I might got some people in
Yeah. So
mind.
the box actually says in the inside, the box actually says you are the special occasion. But as they open it,
Oh,
it says thinking of you.
yeah.
And just
Nice.
because. Yeah. Oh, and then the back
Wow.
it says, it's the thought that matters.
It's the thought that matters. Wow. You have, oh, Crystal, you have been such a blessing. I've learned so much just listening to you, and I'm just really just godly proud of the things that God is using you for. And I really pray that, not only do we just blossom and build, even through your business and everything like that, but I just pray that, even in our Double Dutch Club, that we just begin to, expand, because there's a whole lot of us out there doing our own little thing out there. It's amazing how many entrepreneurs that are a part of the Double Dutch team. Like, it's amazing. I'm loving and I'm usually, and it's funny because I was telling Candace this, I said, I'm usually not the girl group type, I'm usually not and not because I just don't like girls. I'm usually more, I'm a loner. Like, I've always been that type of person. I could sit up in my bed with a bag of chips and I'll be good, like I'll be good, like, or I'll go skating and then I can go home and get into my own little world. But I think this is really amazing, being around other women that are like-minded, that are actually doing different things and making like real change, like here in Atlanta. So I'm really grateful to be able to connect with you ladies. And I'm really grateful to be able to connect with you. And I'm gonna be a part of your gala. I'm gonna support you in your gala, because I definitely like that. And so I saw that. And for those of you, I want to put this up for you. Oh, for those of you, she does have a sponsorship. I'm going to put this back up here for those of you that are interested in becoming a sponsor. Let me put this back up here. Then it'll show you on her website where you can become either a silver, bronze, or let me see. Let me pull it back up. Let's see. So when you click on her gala, you can either become a silver sponsor, a gold sponsor, or a platinum sponsor. So I know I went over this a little bit and I didn't really give her a chance to kind of go into all of it. But if you become a silver sponsor and you go to her website, she has everything. What happened? Where'd it go?
I'm not sure, but I can just quickly speak to it. So a lot of this gala is completely sponsored by myself. It's out of pocket. And it's only made possible by sponsorship that I receive from people just like you, or companies. And so it is very crucial that, sponsorship takes place so that I'm able to honor the women accordingly and as they deserve.
That's amazing. So for some of you business people out there, this is an opportunity to give back. Everybody's always looking for ways to give back. Sometimes the best way to give back is to get in your pocket. And get in your pocket and help her honor the women that are in our community. Everybody wants to be a part of the solution, but nobody wants to do the physical stuff that's required to be a part. So if you can, you got the silver sponsorship, that's $50 to $100. You got the $150 to $250, and then you have the $300 and up. So those of you that are serious about making impact, why don't you consider becoming a sponsor for the I Am Beautiful Gala? And I'm sure all the women and Crystal will appreciate your you being able to support her in helping other women restore, their voice and restore, their esteem, because believe it or not, it's the little things that make a difference. It's the little things that make a difference. So thank you so much, Crystal, for joining me here on Sisterhood Check-In. I hope this won't be your last. Who knows? Maybe Sisterhood Check-In could cover your gala. You know, we can talk to some of the ladies that are there at the gala. So we'll talk off.
Yeah, that'll be great.
That would be good. But thank you guys for watching. Also, I wanted to also make it known, and thank you, Crystal, for being a guest here on Sisterhood Check-In and taking time out of your day. I greatly appreciate it. And for those of you also that are interested, I just opened up, if you go to my website, thecoachingwithnadira.com, I did show that I have new merchandise out now. So if you go to, I'm going to pull up the website real quick and then allow you guys to be able to see. So it is the holidays. So if you guys are looking for a gift to be able to give to your family, this is the perfect time to do it. So when you go to my website, it's actually a mobile app. So for those of you that have a app, you can download it, or it'll save to your phone without you having to go through the app store to do it, because some people don't like the download because they don't want all the extra space on their phone. But if you actually go, and I'm going to show you what the website is, I have a lot of new stuff that you guys can be able to give as gifts, and bags to be able to share. My thing is, don't just talk it, wear it. So this is the Strength and Dignity boutique, where you can get bags that reflect your faith, strength and honor, her clothing. You have the different color bags that you can get, and they're on sale right now for $29.95. I also have bags, Grown and Holy, Living in God tote bag. This is one, Blessed, Redeemed and Forgiven, and Woman of God. We also have the phone. If you have a iPhone, Android, doesn't matter. These actual phone wallets work for whatever type of phone device that you have, which I like, because sometimes when you're buying these devices online, you don't know if it fits your phone or not, with all these versions of iPhones and Androids. So this particular phone wallet can fit whatever type of phone that you want. Also have the blankets. These are throw blankets. These are perfect gifts to give for somebody that you want to encourage. You know, something they can throw across their couch or throw on their chair while they're watching TV. The newest merchandise that we placed out is the vests and jackets. So these are great ways they're great conversation starters, representing your faith. If you're a Christian, you can be able to wear these jackets and really be a testament of what God is doing in your life. This one's Grown and Holy. This is the It's All God vest. So these are great conversation starters for those of you that look for ways to talk about your faith. And then we also have the jewelry case with the mirror. So if you these are great gifts to give to a loved one, you know, to encourage them, especially if they're not feeling beautiful. You can host your jewelry in here, whether it's rings or whether it's necklaces. It's a great way to travel with it because it's not very big. It's a nice little small storage where you can put, you know, in the back, you can see with the mirror unhooks, you could put your necklaces in the back. And you could put your rings or other little jewelry for those of you that, you know, that do wear jewelry. So it's a nice way to be able to give somebody some gifts. So make sure you go to the website, coachingwithnadira.com, and click on, you click down at the Strength and Dignity store and be a blessing to somebody. You know, take the time and give a gift, you know. Be a part of Crystal's gala. Go in there, support those women, and support them with a gift from the Strength and Dignity. Don't just go to the gala. Go there and be a blessing to those women. And I just wanted to tell you, thank you guys who follow me consistently. All of my subscribers on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and this will be uploaded to TikTok. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you share and like, and I'll see you next week, or I'll see you on the web. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing day.
You're good?
Almost. Sometimes it takes a little while before it comes up. Before I have my outro. Usually I have my outro set up, and sometimes it takes a little longer than usual, but that's okay. I'm gonna just go ahead and play it because sometimes it just takes a while. So have a good day. I'll see you guys next week.
All right. All right, y'all. It's about that time now.
She's a woman of God, she's a woman of grace, she's a woman of the marketplace. She's a woman of God, she's a woman of grace, she's a woman of the